Good afternoon, Ospreys. You're watching Nest News live from the Student Union. I'm Kaylee Snyder.
And I'm Jeannie Gilbert. Coming up on today's show, countrywide winter storms,
Natural disaster recovery,
the Florida Board of Education banning DEI in the Florida college system,
the River City Rumble,
and a sports update. Stay tuned and enjoy the show.
2 weeks of winter storms across the United States have turned roads into icy death traps. Over 40 deaths have resulted from this freezing weather from Oregon to Tennessee, and some cities are experiencing power outages that could take weeks to fix. Last Friday, snow was falling in New York City and Washington, D.C. Schools closed in D.C. for the second time in a week, and the government operated on a 2-hour delay. But the biggest problem remains in the places hit hard by the storms earlier in the week. Over on the West Coast, Oregon Governor Tina Kotek declared a statewide emergency Thursday night, nearly a week after the start of a crippling ice storm. According to the Associated Press, thousands of residents in parts of Oregon's Willamette Valley have been without power since last weekend because of the freezing rain. On Thursday, Will Compton, resource specialist for the nonprofit Open Table Nashville, stopped his SUV outside the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum to hand out warm hats, blankets, protein drinks, and socks to those standing outside during the storm.
With natural disasters now affecting so many across the United States, insurance markets are buckling under the weight of payouts to those hit by wildfires and hurricanes. Deanne Criswell, administrator of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, said new changes are going into effect in March to make it easier for disaster survivors to get help. Under previous rules, disaster survivors first had to apply for a loan with the Small Business Administration and get rejected before they could even apply for FEMA assistance. Criswell said survivors found the SBA application requirement and confusing and challenging, so the agency is just eliminating that requirement altogether. According to the Associated Press, disaster survivors with disabilities can now use FEMA money to make changes to their homes, making them more accessible, whereas under previous rules, the agency only paid to rebuild things that had been damaged in the disaster. These new rules go into effect March 22nd, with changes expected to cost $671 million per year. $159 million of that is coming from the states and tribal nations where the disasters occur.
On Wednesday, the Florida Board of Education implemented strict regulations on the use of public funds for diversity, equity, and the inclusion programs in the Florida State college system. Florida Education Commissioner Manny Diaz Jr. said this ensures taxpayer money will not be spent on DEI and radical indoctrination of students. The BOE also replaced principles of sociology with an American history course in the general education requirements for Florida state colleges. These regulations on state colleges are separate from Florida State's university system, which UNF is a part of. The Florida Board of Governors is working on applying similar regulations to state universities in compliance with Senate Bill 266, which was signed into law by Governor Ron DeSantis last May.
The University of North Florida and Jacksonville University had the first matchup in their biannual men's basketball showdown during the River City Rumble last Friday. We'll now go to our reporter Austin for a recap of the game.
Hey Ospreys, I'm Austin D with Spinnaker TV. We're in front of the UNF Arena, and this past weekend on Friday was the River City Rumble, where UNF men's basketball went against the UNF Ospreys versus the Jacksonville University Dolphins. The final score was 82-74, with UNF being on top. Go Ospreys! And here are some notable moments from Coach Driscoll.
We took great advantage of, okay, we're just going to take what you give us. And we still were able to sprinkle in some threes. When you shoot 85% in the second half, obviously it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out how, if you just take care of the other end, which we did. Now, we didn't finish well, but what we did defensively, which people don't ever give us credit for, and we're one of the best in the country, is we take away threes. You cannot do anything in life unless you have two things really, really, really etched in your heart, and that is the willingness to work and the willingness to have great gratitude. And to our guys' credit, we had it. They out-rebounded us, they out-dissed us, they out-thatted us. At the end of the day, our second half was really, really special. And I hate to say it this way, but there were no adjustments. Literally, there were no adjustments, except we told these guys, you got way too much knowledge and you're not using it to your advantage. If they do this, then you do this. If they take this away, then you burn them with this. It's really that simple, but you got to play with that part. I think what we really did a great job of having a person between the ball and the rim. And when we didn't, it's always great to have this guy behind him. He's really underrated. I think he's the best, in my opinion. I think he's the Defensive Player of the Year.
For more information on this weekend's past game or any other future games here at UNF, you can visit unfspinnaker.com. I'm Austin Thielen with Spinnaker TV.
Thanks, Austin. We hope the Ospreys keep up their wins throughout the year.
And now to Angel for your sports update.
What's up, Ospreys? Angel Milano here with your sports update. We've got just a little bit to cover, but let's get into it. Women's basketball played against Queens, North Carolina last Saturday in North Carolina. The Ospreys held a pretty dominant lead, outscoring the Lions every quarter besides the last one. The Ospreys finished the game with a 76-57 win. This leaves women's basketball with a 7-11 overall record and a 1-3 conference record. Men's basketball played against #1 Kennesaw State last night here at the UNF Arena. The Ospreys controlled the entire game from the start, only allowing 35 points in the first half. Throughout the entire game, the lead only changed 3 times, but it ended in an 84-75 win for your Ospreys. The last couple games left the Ospreys with a 10-9 overall record and a 3-1 conference record. As far as Jacksonville news goes, the Jaguars missed the playoffs this season with a 20-28 loss to the Tennessee Titans. They finished the season with a 9-8 record, and this was quite a shock for the Jags as they started the season with an awesome 8-3 record. But loss upon loss in the final weeks left the Jags only winning 1 of the last 6 games, which was against the Carolina Panthers, a team that only won 2 games the entire season. This was largely in part to their starting quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, getting injured in Game 16 against the Bucks. A fully healed Trevor Lawrence, a new defensive coordinator, and a 17th round pick in the draft leaves a lot of hope left in the team. Tomorrow night at 2 p.m., come support the women's basketball team here at the arena for the River City Rumble, as our rivals, the JU Dolphins, come to fight for the SunTrust Barrel. And then following that, at 5 p.m., the men's basketball team plays here against Queens, North Carolina. That's all I have for you today, Ospreys. See you next week for your sports update.
You know, Jeannie, it's been really cold lately, but I wonder what it's going to look like this weekend.
I don't know, but I think I know someone who does. Back to Rachel with your local weather update.
Hello, Ospreys. I'm Rachel Backus here with your weekly weather update. Today is mostly overcast with lows of 43 and highs of 66. The weekend will continue with cooler weather, getting as low as 30 with highs of 50. Saturday is expected to be sunny, but Sunday night will continue with cloudy weather, leading to scattered rainfall on Wednesday. Temperatures are expected to rise gradually, getting as high as 79 degrees by next Friday. That's all the weather I have for you today, Ospreys. Back to you, Jeannie and Kaylee.
That's just about all we have for you today, Ospreys.
Remember, consider donating to support Spinnaker through the link in the description below.
For all things Spinnaker, check out our website at unfspinnaker.com.
Also remember to follow us on our Instagram at UNF Spinnaker and check out the rest of our YouTube for more content.
As always, thanks so much for watching. I'm Jeannie.
And I'm Kaylee. We'll see you next week on Spinnaker's Nest News.